Ladies and gentlemen, I'm very excited to bring up our first guest of the evening. He's a very good friend of mine and a very talented comedian and writer. You can catch him performing and writing with Pineapple-Shaped Lamps, and already premiered last week. You can catch him this weekend. His brand new play, The Continuing Adventures of the Crimson Shadow. Please bring up Devin DiMattia, everybody. Devin DiMattia.
I just want to give a shout out to Jordan Bench for using the phrase wishy-washy. Good job. Awesome job.
Wishy-washy for in their feud.
You're the target audience for the play that I'm all 1940s dialogue. It's going to be good, guys.
Yeah, because I love it. The play is set in the 1940s.
Yeah.
And I'll take us through this, because this is in the style of if I understand this correctly, the style of an old-timey radio play.
Right. It was, so basically it's weird because people have been asking me, like, I've been doing a lot of interviews about this play, and people that have been interviewing me are older than me, and they've been like, they get like suspicious when I talk about the play, because they're like, but you're young, why do you care about that?
You're from the narcissistic generation.
Yeah.
Why would you go to bed earlier?
Yeah. But no, it was like when I was a kid growing up, I would go to the local public library and check out Orson Welles' version of War of the Worlds. I had this weird, I was obsessed with like old-timey radio, and it's funny because like now it feels like culture is starting to get into that thing too, like the whole like podcasting thing, like Welcome to Night Vale, and the Thrilling Adventure Hour. There's definitely this like resurgence of that kind of radio as like a medium, like an art form.
Exactly, yeah.
But so I invented this fake radio show called The Crimson Shadow, and I wrote a play around it where it's about all the backstage drama between the cast and the crew, about just all the clashings of egos and stuff. And my friend Phil Antonino plays the lead. He plays the Orson Welles type. His name is Sam Conway. He's the voice of the Crimson Shadow, and everybody hates him because he's so full of himself. He's like, this show is like this one-way ticket to stardom, and everyone else just hates him for it.
Now, if I understand this correctly, was this born out of a PSL sketch? Was this originally?
Yeah, it's funny. This show, it's weird thinking about it, because this show, Pineapple-Shaped Lamps have been around for about 6 years now. Just saying that freaks me out.
Right, yeah.
And we started doing sketch comedy every week at the Brown Coat. We had a show called TNL, or Thursday Night Live, and we would do a weekly sketch comedy show. And I wrote a Crimson Shadow sketch. It was called The Crimson Shadow and the Secret Affair. And I think part of me wrote it just because I loved that title so much. Like I just loved like the goofy, like pulpy title of that sketch. I'm not gonna lie, writing the fake show within the show was so much fun. Like, I don't know, there's something about just writing these goofy cliffhangers of episodes with no explanation whatsoever, just getting to come up with a ridiculous villain, just getting to have characters say dialogue like, it's like, once this clock strikes midnight, the trapdoor will lower, and then tearing your lifeless body limb from limb. Like, I love writing dialogue like that. It's so much fun.
And the thing is, like in the current climate, you can't any other way. Mm-hmm. Like it has to be like a really on the nose like nod to like when that was the mainstream.
Yeah. And so I wrote two sketches that we actually performed at the Brown Coat, and then I wrote like a third Crimson Shadow sketch that was going to be like a two-parter. It was like 10 pages each, and by that point, we actually tried to stage it. It got cut for obvious reasons.
Wait, that's a 20-minute sketch.
It's a 20-minute sketch. It would take up at least a third of the show, and it had been such a long gap between the second and the third one. That's like, I'm bringing a thing back that we haven't addressed in like over a year.
Right.
So it would have been weird to just suddenly bring this concept back and have to reintroduce it to people. So by that point, I realized I had written like 40 pages of original material about this one idea. And I was like, shit, I've got enough for a play, I guess, maybe.
That sounds awesome.
And no, I just hunkered down, wrote an outline, I lived in, I think I was living in Raleigh when I started really just like honing it and just like trying to figure out what the actual structure would be. And then when I moved back here, I finished it up in time for a City Stage Fringe festival that didn't happen.
Oh.
City Stage had touted this Fringe festival they were doing where they were gonna showcase a bunch of original plays, and then at the very last minute they were like, "Oh, we're not doing it." So I was like, "Oh, I just finished this play, so I'll hold on to it for a year."
We just want to light a fire and to finish the script. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like nothing helps me write more than a deadline. Like I will drag out an idea as long as I can until someone says, "Oh, we need it in a week." Oh, then it's done now. Here we go.
That's awesome. So if pineapple-shaped lamps is like Wilmington's SNL equivalent, this is your Wayne's World. This is your
my Coneheads.
Yeah, this is your Coneheads.
Yeah.
We're making this feature length. Now, this is really exciting. And you've opened last weekend.
We opened last Thursday at the Red Barn.
And these reviews are so. I saw our friend Gwyneth Roller wrote a very glowing review about you guys in Encore.
Yeah, I was so very happy. Gwyneth's been a big supporter of not just me, but also of just like pineapple-shaped lamps in general.
Yeah.
She's been really like vocal in her support. So I knew I had a feeling she was going to get a real like. She was really going to enjoy the show, and I'm so glad that she enjoyed it as much as she did. And I'm hoping, because of the fact that we're competing with like 7 other shows in town, I'm hoping that her words will hopefully inspire people to seek us out and see us, because I know it's hard being an original show having to compete with Shakespeare and Green Day and
What? Who are these?
all these other things.
Who's this Shakespeare dude? I don't. He's.
Yeah, who's this?
Yeah, that was legit like the American Idiots. So you've already. Is this your first time mounting an original?
Yes.
No, you're already 1 weekend in. What has shocked you so far about this process? Like what have you been learning so far?
Well, I think the hardest part is like just the act of letting it go. That's been the hardest part for me, because like I've been sitting in the audience for every performance except last Sunday. I finally got the I was like, all right, I need to steal myself away. I need to take a step back, because and Wesley Brown, the artistic director of PSL, even told me, he was like, "Devin, you need to stop giving notes during the shows. You need to like stop texting people suggestions for things. The show is theirs now."
And it's in the 40s. The president and the can't be like just constantly pulling their phone out.
Yeah, right.
In the 1940s.
Oh, Devin says I need to slow down. All right.
All right.
No, it's so weird being like coming from a film background, and the only stage directing experience I've had is doing the one-off sketch shows we do at Theater Now.
Right.
It's weird doing a thing that just keeps going. Like, it's going for 2 more weekends, and it's so surreal. Just like now, I'm at the mercy of my cast and crew, who I love, who are doing an amazing job.
Now you have a very hysterical cast. Who do you have? You've got Phil Antonino in the lead.
We have Phil. We have a fairly relative newcomer. Her name is Erin Plum. She was in Thalen's production of Name last December. She's really great as our female lead. Chris Lewis, who originated the role of his character. His character is Stephen Yakamoto, who is a Asian American voiceover actor trying to like make it big in the 1940s, and all that like anti-Asian World War II sentiment is going on. So he's sort of like having to swallow his pride and play all these stereotypical villains on all these shows. And so he actually originated that role when we did it at the Brown Coat.
That's really awesome.
And so it's really cool. It was really nice of him to stick around and be a part of this, because I think he's really enjoying himself. So we have Chris. It's a cool, the show is a nice even mix of people who've been with PSL for a while and a bunch of newcomers. We have on the PSL side, we have Phil, Chris, Blake, Jessica Gift, who just joined us a few months ago. She went on tour with us. And then we have a bunch of newcomers that I've never worked with before. Jamie Davenport, who's been hilarious. Emily Gomez has been great.
Nice.
My friend Brian Knoyer, who I worked with on The Ucousical, the show over at the Beam Room. It was great getting to like, the tables flipped. He directed me in Ucousical, so now I get to like return the favor.
So now you get to bombard him with notes.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
That's very exciting. So you have What are your show times? You got your going up this weekend, you're going up next weekend.
It's Thursday through Saturdays at 7:30. Sunday matinees are at 3 o'clock. It's $20 general admission, $18 for students and seniors, and then it's $15 if you see us on Thursday. So this Thursday tickets are just $15 and you can get them all online at balian.org.
So I'm very excited for this play. I was very excited when you told me that you were doing it. I remember like a couple months ago we talked about this, so I was very excited to hear that was being mounted. So please go check this out, The Continuing Adventures of the Crimson Shadow. Devin, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you very much.
Devin DiMattia, everybody.